Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we have just a, mock live stream till I can actually live stream on here. But yeah, we're just gonna go over some things that I want to talk about and chill, and I'll tell you what's kind of coming up. And yeah, it's pretty laid back video. I don't have like any specific coverage. We're just gonna go off some topics that I feel like covering. But to get started, Comic-Con 2024. I will be covering it on Thursday. I will vlog the entire thing. It's gonna be a decent amount of editing, and the real editing too. I'm gonna really put time into that and get it, done well, and make sure it's pretty well put together, because that's gonna be a really cool video. And I'm gonna meet Emily Swallow, who is the armor in the Mandalorian. I got not invited, but like I got accepted to go to the Deadpool and Wolverine panel at Comic-Con, so you'll see some of that. There's all sorts of booths and people I'm gonna meet, and it's just would be a really cool experience, and I'd love to get it all on camera and edited, and see who we meet and who we talk to. And obviously I probably won't be able to film the conversations because I'm filming it, so I can't really do that because I don't have a cameraman obviously, but that'll be really, really, really cool. So that'll be up probably next week at some point, because it's gonna take time to edit, and I am going to Deadpool and Wolverine on Friday, the movie itself, which I've heard is really good. And I hope Marvel can, at least have one good project, that would be nice. I just hope they do, because we have not had a good Marvel movie since Infinity War. And Guardians 3 was really good, but like that was one. So yeah, since Guardians 3, and even before Guardians 3, it was not great, so I hope this is a movie that's genuinely well made and it isn't just pumped with fan service. But at the same time, it is a Deadpool movie, so it's not going to be some cinematic masterpiece, because that's not really kind of how Deadpool movies are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. I know practically what happens because I've read the leaks and it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and I'm really excited that I'll get to see Sean Levy and Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds on stage live. That'll be really cool, and see what the heck happens, because they haven't provided like any details about what's gonna happen. We just know it is happening, and we know it's about Deadpool and Wolverine, and we know that those three guys are there. But everything else is like, we don't know. We have no clue. Yeah, so that'll be cool, and I'll get all that on camera if they let me. I think they do. I think at cons you're allowed to record. Obviously if they tell me no, I'll put my camera away, but we'll see. That'll be fun. As for, I'm not dressing up. I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna, bring a Star Wars, wear a Star Wars shirt and wear my prequels hat probably. That'll probably be it, and I'll bring a lightsaber too, in case, and it's just fun too, so I'll bring that. But in terms of, am I gonna be all, dressed in a costume? No, like I don't have any, like really anything right now, and B, yeah, I don't know, I don't want to exactly spend my money on that. But yeah, so perhaps at some point, but not now. Because the Ruby's costumes look like dog crap. The only one that I could do still is like a Jedi robes thing, because they sell really good ones on Amazon for $30. I could do that, but I've never worn it before, and I don't want it to be uncomfortable. I don't know. Yeah. So maybe, but probably not. Yeah, but that'll be fun. So that's coming up. And then B, I'm still considering this. I haven't totally decided, and this is going to take thought, because if I get... Obviously, some of you saw my poll about the, thing about me trying to get into Lucasfilm and all that. Is it possible? Yes. Do I think I could pull it off if I do it well enough? Yes. However, do I want to do that to myself? I don't know. And I'm still trying to figure out, exactly what the best route is, for the community and for Star Wars. Would it be to get in there and try to change things, or would it be to be out here and be loud and just being a kind of critic of Star Wars? I'm trying to figure out what's more effective. But I feel like going in is easily the most effective route. And look, worst case scenario, if they, if they're like treating people, if I see people being treated like crap, or they treat me like crap, or they try to censor and block all my projects and ideas, then I'll just straight up say it online on this channel and be like, well, they were, doing this, and that, and this, and this person were involved, and I will just straight up expose them. So that's the thing. But if it's like, it doesn't work out, that's fine, obviously. But I'll be able to tell if they're not letting me in for my views, of Star Wars, or I'll be able to tell that, and I'll say that on here as well. So there's really no way out for them. But yeah, if they seem genuine and they seem like they care, but like they can't, then they can't hire me for some reason, or someone else had this and that, and whatever. But obviously, I can see through lies very easily. So I'd be able to kind of tell, and just being in that atmosphere, even for like an interview or any kind of reason, would be really interesting. Because of what I've heard about how they treat people over there, it's not good. But I'd be very interested to, be in the midst of it and kind of see. But that would result in another channel wipe, and I don't really feel like doing that. And that would be really tough for me, because I built kind of the channel back up. So I don't think that's gonna happen, and I just kind of have to hope that, that this channel's kind of under the covers. But yeah, I don't know. That would be a really big commitment that I don't know I'm ready to make yet. It's not out of the picture for the future, and I know you guys want me to, give you my game plan. But I'm not fully, I think, ready to commit to that yet, because that's like a multi-year process, and it's scary and it's risky. So I can't totally tell you, yet. But that doesn't mean I'll do the beginning processes now of emailing them and being kind of incessant on, is there a career opportunity? Well, yeah, but I'll go into that if I ever do the video. But I got my plan, and I think it'll work. But again, it's a commitment, and it's scary, and I don't want to seem like one of those guys, but you guys know I'm not. But like the shill people, I don't want to be seen like them. I don't want that at all. But I'd kind of have to pretend, in order to get in, and then kind of be slick and like do things and make it really good, and then they'd see, oh wait, right? So you'd have to be really, really slick, and it's kind of a long process, because I'm practically playing on stealth mode, right? I couldn't blatantly walk in there and be like, you guys don't know what you're doing. As much as I'd love to do that, that's not realistic. So I'd have to slide my way in. And if things were really bad, I'd probably just abort, because I've heard things are really awful over there. But I might just trudge through it, because I think it's more important to save Star Wars than it is, with me having to deal with crap temporarily. You know, I feel like that's kind of a very big uneven balance. So as for that, I'm not fully decided on, you know, making that stuff public yet. Because if you guys don't know, I have a lot of like little sources and stuff online, and I hear things. I just don't say them on here because I've been told by them not to say it on here. But like, I know not only stuff about Star Wars, but I know stuff about Marvel too, and the future of Marvel. I have people who know people, and I have one guy who's pretty much reliable every single time. So I think he's primary, but like, I don't even know their names. You know, I know their username, I don't know their name. And, you know, they're like very clear that I can't even give their name to like my mom, you know, like it's very secretive. But there were things that I knew about the Acolyte before they happened. You know, and same with Deadpool. I knew a couple of those characters were gonna be in way before everyone else. You know, I don't have links to George or any of, like, you know, or Dave or anyone, but I know kind of bigger decisions they're making. And I know sometimes where they're filming. I know where they're filming Mando and Grogu. That is, I do know where they're starting at. They're starting in El Segundo at the train track, which I'm going to try to go to and scout, you know, from a distance so that I don't get in trouble for trespassing on the set, obviously. But you're allowed to watch from a distance and they can't really do anything about it. And then I'll, you know, you'll see pictures pop up and those are probably mine. So my intent is, it's in 3 weeks. They're filming, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out exactly what day, but they are filming in 3 weeks in El Segundo in the train yard. So that's, again, in California, so it's close. Because what's cool about this movie is they're shooting it pretty much all in California, in LA, which is great for me because I live close and I know the name of their secret name that they have for the project. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot exactly. Here, I'm gonna find it. I have it saved on here. Thunder Alley, right. That's the WT, the working title for the movie is called Thunder Alley. So if you see like anything that says Thunder Alley like on it near a set, you know that that's Mando and Grogu. And there's gonna be 500 crew members, 54 cast members, and 3,500 background people working on the project. So it's a big movie, like genuinely huge. Yeah, and it'll be shooting to mid-October. So it already filmed some scenes that were with very limited crew, which means that there are some big things happening. I don't know who is gonna be in it, but I have heard from people that there are some big characters that have scenes filmed because it was limited crew, which normally means they don't want anything to get out, so they limit who's on set, basically, like super limit, like what they did with Luke in what's it called, in Mando season 2, where they had like barely anybody. That it's like that. So I could assume, and they had multiple of those days, so I could assume that there's gonna be some big characters in this movie that they do not want getting out. And they do not film really crazy scenes out in public either, because they don't want anything getting out. So the scene at the shipyard probably will just have like maybe Mando and Bo-Katan, or like some other Mandalorians or who knows who, but you're not going to see like Luke Skywalker, you know, on that set, because they always keep all that really wrapped under covers and they only shoot that in studios, for the most part. And especially since it's Jon Favreau, you know, no, never mind, I'm mixing him. Yeah, James Gunn said that for Superman, that he does that. But I've heard that Lucasfilm does the same thing, where they try not to shoot scenes with like big reveals out in public, that they do it in their studios, which makes sense because you wouldn't want that getting out ahead of time. You know, Spider-Man was a mess. Everything got out for that movie. For No Way Home, it was a disaster. Like literally everything got out, man. Like it was not. And I heard Kevin Feige was like absolutely losing his mind because all of that was getting leaked, like the costumes and all of that. So for Deadpool, they planted fake leaks and rumors online to like kind of divert people from the truth. But I don't have bad sources, so the things I was told were true that we got in the spoilers for this. So I'm like, well, yeah. This will be interesting. Mando and Grogu, because I know a lot about, you know, I guess some things about this movie, which I know way more about than, you know, their shows are pretty much all filmed in studios, so I don't know as much about, you know, the shows. I've heard things about Skeleton Crew, again, that I can't say, but all this Mando and Grogu stuff that I'm saying has pretty much been revealed online somewhere. So, you know, that's pretty much my sign of, okay, I can talk about it. But the stuff that stays only on, you know, the platform I use to hear these things, and it's nowhere else, then I know I can't talk about it. But the stuff I've said is, yeah, I think I'm allowed to speak about it, because it's not just me. Like, there have been articles and stuff about it. Yeah, so that's fine. But I saw set leaks from Acolyte way the heck early. Yeah, so I know kind of the deal. But yeah, hence that's why I could even know what's going on at Lucasfilm right now, you know, internally, and not just guessing. Like, I know there is stuff going down. And I know incidents that have happened, and it's just absurd. Like, it is, you'd think this is crap that happens at an elementary school, but no, it's happening at Lucasfilm Limited right now. And it's, like, embarrassing. But I can't really get into that, but it's insane. But pretty much what I can say about that is it's what happens in Twitter, on Twitter and on Instagram. You know, in real life, in their offices. So it's pretty embarrassing. You know, in terms of you're allowed to, you know, speaking your opinions on Star Wars, they don't like that much, you know. And I can't get into specifics, obviously, but that's a real problem. So you know how we get trashed online for being fans of George? That's a thing. Oops. Again, cannot give specifics, but still, I just thought it would be funny to tell you guys that crap is happening. So, yeah, let me think. I've done Comic-Con, I did Lucasfilm thing, Mando, Grogu. Right, they're comics. So, they announced that the Star Wars comics, the 2020 comics, are ending. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Like, that is like glory on earth. Those were so bad. The yellow lightsaber comics, like, dude, I can't. They were just so so bad. And the War of the Bounty Hunters, like, bull crap that they pulled, and it's, like, not even good. And Vader 2020, where they have to connect it to the sequels, like, even though it's way the heck behind in time. Yeah, absolutely absurd there. Completely absurd. Yeah, so those just were so bad I stopped reading them. And I don't know how we went from the 2017 Vader comics to the 2020 Vader comics. That's a very different... It's a big dip in quality. You know, it's like going from Mando Season 2 to Mando Season 3. Like, that's not a good sign at all. But yeah, they were really bad, and they're done now. So they're moving on to a different era, which is after Episode 6. They're going back to that era. But I guess they're focusing on Luke and Leia and Han, which we don't have. And why am I excited for this? I'm excited to see how they handle Luke after Return of the Jedi, you know, in canon, and how that'll connect to Mando, and how that'll connect, you know, to after Mando. And I want to see exactly how they're going to treat his character, because I feel like they've learned now not to screw with Luke's character. That's at least the message I've gotten, because we got Shadow of the Sith, where he was like, there was this line in there that was just Star Wars gold about how Luke would never give up, and he'd, you know, something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, there we go. Yeah, but, you know, I didn't love that book. There were things that I had issues with, but Luke's character wasn't destroyed, you know, and you know, obviously in Mando and Book of Boba Fett, his character wasn't destroyed. Again, I don't think Luke would have made Grogu choose like that necessarily, but it's not like a giant, huge deal, you know, about, you know, the Grogu thing. It's not a big deal to me, but overall they nailed his character in Mando and Book of Boba. So I think they know not to screw with him, and when he's in something, that's a big deal, right? And I think that's one thing Disney has learned out of all their mistakes, is to not screw with Luke Skywalker, because it infuriates us, which is good. That's one thing that I think they have down pretty well, which I'm very thankful for, because that is, you cannot screw up Luke Skywalker. Like, that's a big problem if you're doing that. But yeah, so the first series out of this new string is a mini series that'll kind of be the prelude to the rest of, you know, the era. Not even the era, like this, I guess the 2025 or some 2024 Star Wars comic series. But yeah, it's called Star Wars Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising. It'll be the first of 3 limited series centered around the never-before-told final moments of the Galactic Civil War. First introduced in The Force Awakens, as we scavenge through the desert, the Battle of Jakku is a pivotal turning point for the galaxy. Alright, we know that. Okay, so yeah, it's saying that basically this whole thing will be centered around. And it will bridge the... Oh! That's gonna be interesting. I'll either be laughing, screaming, or cautiously optimistic. But it's saying the 3 Battle of Jakku series will bridge the gap between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy like never before, revealing key insights behind the aftermath of the Battle of Endor and the Empire's demise, including the Emperor's secret contingency plans, and introduce the shocking, power-hungry threats that emerge during this time of uncertainty. I am very curious to see how the First Order comes to be, because in my head, it's that they were kind of operating underneath the table, you know, and they were, you know, had the Imperial remnant that we see in the Mandalorian as a front, you know, to the First Order, which I think that's what was being alluded to in the Mandalorian, you know, that the First Order's like building up underground while these forces are kind of their backup that they use for emergencies and what, you know, the galaxy perceives of the rest of the Empire, but really they're building up really high in numbers and increasing their tech and whatever underground. So if they go with that, then I guess the First Order isn't as ridiculous that I once thought, you know, because in Force Awakens they just spawned out of nowhere. Like all of the sudden the Empire has, you know, this insane technology and this, like, they went from being destroyed in the floor to being at the height of their power again. It's like, what kind of weird transition is that? You know, it was too fast, you know, and I think that was the issue with that plot of the sequels, is it was too fast. There wasn't enough explanation of how that happened. But if they do that, then hey, I guess I can somewhat appreciate the First Order. I guess that's all I can take away from that, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's guess that would be a takeaway. Our story will be set in scope. Our story will be epic in scope, involving all the major characters you love. Yippee! Plus some new, exciting addition to the mythos. Yay! We love stupid Disney side characters that take up the entire story. Yay! Who's excited? I swear, if they do that even in the books, you're gonna hear it on here. But I'm actually gonna read these because this is the only series that I've been curious about in 5 years. Yeah, I think as a series, yeah, probably it's been since 2018 was the last time I probably saw an interesting Star Wars comic series. No, yeah, it's been that long because I really liked Brotherhood, the Star Wars chapter book. That was really cool. But that's the only one recently that I can say, oh, that was great. And Master and Apprentice. That's probably it. Like, honestly, their books have sucked lately because they've been hyper-focusing on... Ever since the High Republic started, all of their book quality just declined into the ground. Like, really, it's bad. Because I despise the High Republic. It is the worst era in Star Wars, bro. It's like worse than the sequels. I'm telling you. That crap is the most boring, not like story-wise, obviously, because the sequels destroyed Luke Skywalker and destroyed Han Solo. But I more mean in like my interest level. Would I rather have a new story in the sequel era or a new story in the High Republic era? And I'd much rather have a new story in the sequel era than the High Republic era. Because at least in the sequel era, as disgusting as it is, I can be like, ooh, the First Order stormtroopers look cool. Okay. But in the High Republic era, I have nothing. There's nothing that I can visually see that I'll be like, that's pretty cool. No. Nothing. Not even like a costume. Like, just nothing, bro. Like, that era is so bad. To where, again, at least in the other period, I get stormtroopers and I get Kylo. Maybe the Falcon, you know? But that's better than than, you know, getting absolutely nothing in High Republic in the Walmart Old Republic series. Like, seriously, dude. That's what it is. You know, that's what the High Republic is. It's like the Walmart 99-cent store version of the Old Republic. Like, really. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's been a problem. Will not only give readers a front row seat to the final battle of the Galactic Civil War, will reframe the aftermath of the Battle of Endor and introduce a new menacing threat that will keep our heroes guessing. The goal is for all of us is to turn up the volume and make sure this adventure stands shoulder to shoulder with the other stories of the era. As the Empire collapses, a new darkness arises. Alright, so from this, I can already tell that there's going to be some, you know, slight alterations, which that's what Disney does with everything. But again, obviously, you know, what I mean is slight alterations to the Legends. Well, this is not going to be the same as Legends at all, right? It's the canon, their take, you know. So I'm curious. I'm very curious to see how they do this. Because in Legends, it's done really well. And I love the story in Legends after Return of the Jedi. It's really cool. In fact, there is one book. Oh, I remember the name. I don't even need to look for it. It's called Truce at Bakura. And it's right after Return of the Jedi. And you follow Luke and the crew. So good. I'm telling you, so well done. So that's a pretty risky game they're playing. It's this versus Truce at Bakura. That is not a fair competition, you know, so they better blow my mind. But I'll buy it. I will. This is the one that I will say, fine, I'll buy it. Why not? I'll read this series. I'll go to Torpedo Comics Irvine, shout out, they're amazing. And I will go get each individual issue because I'm actually curious for once. The first time in years. Look, and even if there was one, you know, in between that 5-year gap that I said that I was interested in, that's bad that I forgot about it. You know, like that tells you something already. But yeah, like genuinely, I'm interested. I'm very, very curious to see what they're gonna do. And it says, what is the new villain's connection to Darth Vader? Like, this is the mystery stuff of Star Wars that I'm really into. So, I think this will be pretty good. I hope it is, you know. And I'm crossing my fingers that they'll make good comics again. Because every time I'm at Barnes & Noble and I look in the Star Wars comics section, like, there's just nothing I want to get. Like, it's just that bad. Like, there's literally nothing I want to get. It sucks, dude. And I'm like, really? Because when I was little, every one of those books looked like gold to me. You know, I was like, ooh, look at this. It's about Yoda and Anakin, whatever, you know. You'd go through. Obviously, they have the Legends Omnibus section. That's great. Those are gold. But sometimes I don't have $50 to spend on a comic. So, I have to go to the smaller ones, you know. But yeah, this comes out soon, October 2nd. I know that I need to go to Torpedo Comics. I'm on October 2nd. I'm gonna write that in my calendar. But I'm very, 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 very curious about this. Like, genuinely. Because that between Empire and Return of the Jedi era is just so uninteresting to me. I don't know why. But I'm just not, I don't care. Like, why? The only thing I'd be interested in that era would be Luke's transition to getting his green saber and kind of being a chiller Jedi. That would be cool if we did, ooh, I think I just made a Star Wars idea. Lucasfilm, hear me out. Actually, no. I don't want them touching Luke in in his solo big project anymore, actually. Even though it's been better, I don't know. I don't want to give him a whole show. Oh, God. We can only know. who knows how that would go. But again, also, I've heard that Dave is way more protective over legacy characters now. So you're not going to see as many of them, basically, and he's in control of those guys. So basically, yeah, I've heard things that he's super, super, like, picky about, who gets to use legacy characters, which is nice to hear. But, and apparently Leslie had to beg Dave to use Yoda for that one shot in The Acolyte, and he was just like, fine, dude, whatever. But I don't think he would have let her go past Yoda, a back of the head shot of Yoda. I think he would have just not. No, bro. I think he would have been like, no. But then he did let them use Plagueis in that weird way, so I don't think. And Kiadi, so I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. Anyways. Yeah, very, 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 very curious. Battle of Jakku. And by the way, only the OGs know who this armored villain guy is on the cover of the first issue. Only the OGs. Only my generation, I think. Because even maybe some of the, our older fans too. But I don't know if you guys remember, back in 2014, during the mobile game Star Wars era, if you guys remember when they'd, like, shit out a new mobile game, like, literally every 2 months. That era, where you had Commander, Galaxy of Heroes, Force Arena, Uprising, like, we were boom, 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 like, with the mobile games. And the Star Wars Rebels game, and there was, and then I think that's when they ported Complete Saga to mobile, and they ported KOTOR to mobile, like, they just kept releasing all these mobile games, which some of them were actually really good, and then they were stupid, and they're like, oh, let's leave the worst one up there, which is Galaxy of Heroes, and take all the rest down, because that's smart. But anyways, there was this mobile game called Star Wars Uprising, and that is this same villain that is in Uprising. And basically, in Uprising, you played as, like, a rebel. I don't remember the story, but I believe it was after episode 6. I played a little bit of it. I never finished it. I was little. I didn't have a phone, so I played on my mom's phone. Like, that is how old this game was. Like, I was that young. 2015, 2nd grade. Is that, hold on, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I was 7. 2nd grade? That's whack. That is crazy. It's been so long, dude. What the heck? But yeah, basically you'd play as, like, a customizable rebel. And I believe your mission was to, like, get to this guy and kill him or something. Let's look at the description. Yeah, okay. Uprising is set shortly after the events of Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, and deals with the aftermath of the Battle of Endor, which saw the deaths of Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. The Galactic Empire, reeling from its loss, locks down the Anawat sector. A rogue band of resistance fighters comes together to create an uprising against the Empire in its sector. Okay. Yeah, and it lasted, like, a year, too. Like, it got shut down in 2016, and it released in 2015. So it did not do well, I guess. But it's nostalgic, a little bit. I never loved it, obviously, but still, it reminds me of those days before they polluted absolutely everything, Because that was, like, before Episode 7. So that was still, like, we had nothing, So, yeah, that's before they polluted everything. Way back in the day. Like, sheesh, that is... Oh, it's like that's so back there, like unlocked memories. When I saw that guy, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the guy from Uprising, and just unlocked, you know, the year 2015. You know, I already have tons of memories from 2015, but obviously, but those specific ones just got totally unlocked for me right now. This is crazy. I can't believe they brought him back. That's such an obscure, like such an obscure, so obscure of a thing. And they looked back at that. That's pretty impressive. I'm surprised they didn't just forget about him. Because he was kind of cool. I remember, like, thinking he was a cool character. And then he just disappeared from canon. Like, never to be seen again. And that game isn't even considered canon anymore, I think. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I don't think it is. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. So I'll go through all of them. And I'll be like, yeah, George wouldn't do this. George wouldn't do that. You know? That'll be funny. Yeah, but as for my next video, it'll probably be, you know, like my Return of the Jedi one I did, where I went over the chapter book of the duel and I talked about it after. It's going to be like that. I'm still figuring out what exact section of Empire I want to go over, but I think I'm going to do... the carbon freeze scene, I believe, is what I'm going to read in that book. Because I'm curious to see what Vader was thinking doing that. Because there's that one shot, just one of my favorite shots ever in the cinema, where Han goes down, all the smoke blows up, and Chewie's like screaming. And then there's this shot where it transitions and the smoke starts to dissipate and you see Vader like look up like this. And it's super short, but it's for a second. And you have this like really terrifying like strings piece. Dun, da, da, dun, bum, 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 bum. And you see Vader's just like, oh, peak Star Wars right there, dude. That shot is like every time, it's just like so cool. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, because it's like just one of the best shots in Star Wars. And if you don't, go rewatch the carbon freeze scene and you'll see it. But yeah, it's like I'm curious to know what he was thinking during that whole thing, you know. But yeah, and I'm curious to see what Chewie. Well, I know what Chewie, he was freaking out. I don't know. I want to see that from a different lens. And then I want to go over kind of more of Vader and Boba's relationship. That would be cool. And how they kind of interact with each other. Because they don't hate each other. And it's what's weird. What's so weird is that's like Anakin and little Boba. Right? Like, I don't know. That's just, I think about that. And it's like, dude, the connections, right? And it's just like such a weird experience. I don't think they ever... because Boba's the reason that him and Mace got trapped in the Venator. That would be a cool story to explore. And like even a book or something. Like a Vader and Boba meeting for the first time. Like, dang, that would be cool. But yeah. I guess that's kind of all I have for you guys today, but I hope you learned a lot and hope you enjoyed. I guess see you guys in the next video. Hopefully it's tomorrow. Maybe, perhaps. Hopefully. Yeah, but that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Till the next time, may the Force be with you. Leave a like, subscribe, share. Do all that stuff. You've heard it a million times. Goodbye.